Lesson 2-9, percents. So the objective of this lesson is to solve percent problems using proportions and also to solve percent problems using the percent equation. I'm going to start off this lesson by using a Katy Perry example. When Katy Perry's new album was released last year, Target stores received 500 copies of the album to put on their shelves. During the first week of sales, Target sold 135 albums. What percent of Katy's albums sold at Target during that first week? So when you read a problem like this is a percent problem. There's two ways we can solve these percent problems. So before we solve Katy Perry's album situation, I'm going to teach you a little bit about these percents. Alright, so the first way that you can solve a percent problem is by writing a proportion. If you think of her percent out of 100, that's what you're looking for. What percentage of her CDs sold that first week at Target? So there's a couple ways we can do this. The method I use is called is over of equals percent over 100. Is your part. Of is your whole amount. Percent is the percentage of that whole number. So in Katy Perry's example, so I still have my is over of percent 100. We're looking for percent. So we put an X in that spot of the proportion because we don't know. Of is the whole number. 500 copies is our of in this example because that's the total number of albums there were. So 500 is on bottom, and the is the part, the portion. Only 135 albums sold that first week. So writing this out, 135 over 500 equals X over 100. We're solving for the percentage. So now I can just solve a proportion like we usually do. 135 times 100 equaling to 500x, and then using my calculator I'm going to divide 13,500 divided by 500 and I get 27%. So 27% of her albums sold that first week. So let's do another example. What percent of 56 is 42? So this is another percent problem written a little more simplified than a word problem. So still thinking of our is over of equals percent over 100. Of 56, when you read those words, you're going to put 56 in the of location. Is 42, so look for those words in the problem. Is on top, so I'm putting 42. And since it asks me, the question in the problem is what percent? I don't know that, and it's always over 100. So now I just cross multiply 56x equals 4200, divide 4200 by 56, and I get 75%. Don't forget a percent sign if that's what you're solving for. So in these problems, you're going to be looking for three different things. You might be finding a percent, like we've already done. You might be finding a part, which would be solving for the is. Or you might be finding the base or the whole amount, which would be solving for the of in the bottom of our proportion. So here's some more examples. 32 is 15% of what number? So there's our question. I have my proportion. Of what number? I don't know the of, which is in the bottom. 32 is goes on top. 15%, that's the easiest one. You put the number over 100 for the percent. Now I solve like a normal proportion. 15x equals 3200. 3200 divided by 15 is about 213, rounded. In this example, you're looking for the is. So your x is on the is, of 62 is on bottom, and my percentage of 27% goes over 100. Solve the proportion, 62 times 27, divide by 100, and I have 16.74. So that is the is in my problem, the part. A second way you can solve percent problems is by using the percent equation. That's right here. They also have it highlighted. A, which is the same thing as our is, our part, equals the percentage as a decimal. So if it's 27%, you want to put this into your equation as 0.27, and then you multiply it by the whole amount, or the of. So is equals percent times of. Is equals percent times of. Here's an example. A dress shirt that normally costs $38.50 is on sale for 30% off. What is the sale price of the shirt? All right, so it's kind of a two-step problem. First, we need to find how much 30% off of this is. We're looking for the is, or the part. Okay, so they want us to use a percent equation. So we're solving for this. We don't know the is. The percentage is 30, written as a decimal is 0.3, and we're multiplying by the whole, 38.5. So 38.5 times 0.3 equals 1155. So that doesn't answer our total question. This is how much money we get off. If they want the sale price, I need to take the sale price originally and subtract how much I'm getting off. 38.5 minus 11.55, and my new sale price is $26.95. So we used a percent equation to solve for the is. Now let's solve for the base, or the of. Same thing, percent equation, is equals percent times of, or this way if you understand that. 125% of what number is 17.5. There's my is, my percentage as a decimal, 1.25, and times it by my of. I should use a dot as a multiply sign. X, we don't know x. So now I'm going to just divide both sides by 1.25. 17.5 divided by 1.25, and I get 14 for my of. So you have two methods to choose from. All right, in our last example, we're going to be learning about simple interest formula. This is an application, or simple interest is an application of percents, so that's why they include it in this lesson. All right, simple interest formula is given below. Simple interest, or I, to find it, you take P, the principal amount. So P is your principal amount, the amount of money you put into the bank or that you start with. This is our simple interest. Then you multiply P by R and T. R stands for rate, otherwise known as the percentage, and you always want this as a decimal. And T is time. How long is your money going to be invested? All right, so we're kind of switching gears. Make sure you know what each letter stands for. This might be important to jot down if you want. With this lesson involving percents, it's helpful to know some fraction equivalents for common percentages. 1%, 1 over 100. 5%, 1 over 20. 33.3 repeating is 1/3. You might know most of these, but it's good to refresh. So here we're going to use the simple interest formula. You deposited $840. That's your principal amount. $840 is our principal. Into a savings account that earns a simple interest rate of 4.5%. So our rate is 4.5%. You keep the money in the account for 4 years. So time is 4. I'm going to go back to our notes for a second. When we were labeling our letters, time in years is important to know. Okay, how much interest will you earn? So I'm solving for I. Well, interest equals PRT, all multiplied together. So I need all three numbers multiplied. 840 for my principal times my rate as a percent, so I'm dividing by 100, 0.045 times 4. And when I multiply all of these up, I get $168 for simple interest. All right, we'll do one more example. You deposited $125 into a savings account that earns a simple interest rate of 1.75, you earned a total of 8.75 in interest. So this time in our formula, they gave us the I. That's how much you earned. How long was your money in the account? So we're solving for T. I have my rate, 0.0175, and my principal is 125. So I'm going to multiply these numbers, 0.0175 times 125. I get 2.1875 T. So it's like solving an equation, and I'm going to divide 8.75 divided by, and I get 4 years. Okay, so this is your simple interest formula. That ends our lesson. Here's the lesson check. You're solving 4% problems. You may use the percent equation or the proportion, whichever you like better. And then you have a simple interest problem as well. Good luck.